What is up? Welcome back to the Jeremy Awakens podcast. And today's Monday motivation is to hopefully light a fire under your ass. Because if I'm being completely honest, I'm a little disappointed in you. I'm a little upset. And the reason I'm upset is because you are not sharing your gifts with the world. You know, and I know that you have something special inside of you. You know that your soul was here to do something special. But what happens in this human experience is that sometimes we allow our limiting beliefs, we allow these stories and narratives from our past to prevent us from fully stepping into our power and unleashing our potential. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is not easy to step into your gifts because that is a significant responsibility. When you fully own that you are here for a very divine reason, for a very significant mission, it can be very scary because it's like, oh my gosh, there's people that are going to judge me. There's people that are going to think that I'm full of myself because I'm speaking my truth now and I'm being unapologetically myself. But you know what is much more scary than that reality? Is the fact that you could go to your grave with all of this potential that you never tapped into, with all of this light that you never shared with the world. And I'm not here to get dark. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to hopefully light a fire under your ass because everybody needs a little bit of tough love. And I'm going to share with you the number one thing that I think holds people back from fully owning their gifts, stepping into their strengths, aligning fully with their purpose. I think the number one fear that people have is the fear of being fully seen. All parts of you, the light, the dark, the anger, the joy, this big range of emotions that every single human experiences. But so often we wear a mask to gain the approval of others. We wear a mask to fit in. And I'm giving you an invitation right now to start removing your mask. This is why so many people love Halloween. They get to dress up. But the funny thing about Halloween is that it's probably the only day of the year where people actually just express themselves fully and don't give a fuck about the opinions of other people because everyone else is dressing up. Everyone else is stepping into this new character. But what if you were able to actually be unapologetically yourself the other 364 days of the year? How would it feel to actually be able to speak your truth? To film that content for social media, to impact the lives of others. That's what you're meant to do. Now, I'm not saying everyone is meant to be a content creator or film content. However, we live in a society that is addicted to consumption, consuming material things, consuming social media content, consuming products and services that are just supplying you with a quick hit of dopamine rather than investing in things that are actually going to expand our soul, that are going to make us feel whole internally. But we oftentimes just chase things externally to make us feel whole and complete. How many people do you know that are just posting the highlight reel of their life on social media? I live in Miami Beach. I see this shit all the time. I mean, countless women posting bikini pictures and out at a nice dinner, on a yacht, at the club, whatever it may be. That's literally all they're sharing with the world. They've limited themselves to this physical body. And after having conversations with many of these girls, whom happen to also be my friends, I realized that they have so much more to share. They have so much more depth. But here's what happens. These women get so much validation externally from posting the booty pic, from posting the bikini pic, from posting the picture on the yacht. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with those things. It's beautiful to share the body that you've worked hard for. It's beautiful to express your sensual and sexual side. But when you identify and attach your entire self-worth to your physical body, you are setting yourself up for massive vulnerability. Because now, what happens when you're not feeling so beautiful? What happens 10 years down the road when you have a couple wrinkles in your skin? You're going to feel like shit. You're going to lack worthiness. You're going to lack confidence because now all of your identity is attached to this avatar that you've created. This is exactly what happened to me. From ages 24 to 27, I was obsessed with fitness, nutrition. I was a very well-respected personal trainer here in Miami. And if you looked at my social media feed, literally every single picture or video was me shirtless. Now, there was some sort of level of authenticity to this because a lot of my day was spent outside or in the gym working out. And oftentimes I would actually do that shirtless. I'm not ashamed of that. But what happened in that 3-year process was so much of my identity and self-worth was attached to being this well-respected trainer, to having this six-pack, to being super shredded. And I still take massive pride in my body. I've worked so hard for it. Like literally, I've worked out consistently for 17 years, from ages 17 to the present moment when I'm 34 years old. So yeah, I'm really proud of my body. I'm proud of my flexibility. I'm proud of my strength. I'm proud of my athleticism. That's a gift and I'm so grateful for it. I'm not going to stop sharing it. But there came a point, and plant medicine and ayahuasca played a very significant role in my journey, as some of you may know. But there came a point where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so much more than this physical body. I have so much more to share with the world. And eventually, after that first ayahuasca ceremony, I started to share more of myself online. I started to record podcasts. I started to just explore other parts of myself. And I think we're living in a world right now where so many people are addicted to instant gratification, addicted to external validation. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I've been there. I'm not going to come and tell you that I never experienced those things. Absolutely I did. And they still show up here and there. I'm just an imperfect dude doing the best I can to constantly become a better version of myself. But I see this shit all the time and it really saddens me. How many people are depriving the world of their gifts? Do you understand how selfish that is? Do you understand that God put you on this planet for a very specific reason? Only you know that reason. Your soul has a very unique blueprint. And one of the greatest ways to actually honor yourself, honor God, honor humanity as a whole is to identify your gifts and start sharing those gifts with the world. And I know, like I said, this can be scary. What are people going to think of me? What happens to this old avatar that I've spent so long building up? What happens is liberation. What happens is freedom. I'm very fortunate enough to have, friends that are pro athletes. And so much of their life has been dedicated to one sport. So much of their identity has become the athlete, right? From ages 4 or 5, these people, were playing their respective sport. They make it all the way through high school, college, professionally, make millions of dollars. And if they're lucky and they have a long, prosperous career, they play until their early to mid 30s. Literally. And then it's like, oh shit. The last 30 years, I've been working my ass off to become this person. And now this stage of my life is coming to a close. What now? What now? And that's why I think it's so beautiful to see people like my friend, Jordan Poyer. If you haven't watched or listened to that episode, please do your best to go back a couple weeks and listen to that, because Jordan is a beautiful embodiment of a very successful athlete. He's still an active player in the NFL. And he went on his own spiritual journey a couple years ago, and he realized, oh my gosh, I got so much more to share. Football has been such a beautiful gift that's given me a platform to impact other people and inspire others. But there's so much more to this game called life than football. Are you ready to feel limitless in 2025? I'm talking limitless physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, financially. This is your sign to try out microdosing for 30 days. We have a very special opportunity for podcast listeners. You can get started for only $222. This includes the medicine being shipped to you, the highest quality, fair trade, organic, sustainably sourced microdoses in the world at your doorstep. And you also get access to live group coaching calls with me, our private community. This is your sign to take ownership of your life in 2025. If you're ready, hit the link in the description, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. There's so much more to this game called life than football. And I really just felt called to leave this message for you on a Monday, because the truth is, if you think about it, if I asked you the question, what is the most expensive real estate in the world? You might say Dubai. You might say Miami. You might say Calabasas or Beverly Hills. But the truth is, the most expensive real estate in the world is actually a graveyard. Think about all of the hundreds of millions of dollars of ideas, of creativity, of genius, of potential that got buried without being fully expressed. Think about that for a moment. Because I believe that one of the greatest regrets that our generation is going to have on our deathbed, I believe the greatest regret that our generation is going to have is, oh my God, I wish I did not spend so much time scrolling mindlessly, watching other people live their life instead of me actually living my own. So ask yourself, are you living life right now as a consumer, or are you living life right now as a creator? Those are the only two ways to live life. You can live life as the consumer who's constantly watching other people, comparing yourself to them, scrolling mindlessly, thinking that material things are going to make you feel whole and complete. Or you can be the creator. You can be the person that inspires others. You can be the person that pursues your passions. You can be the person that dedicates your life to aligning with your soul's mission. And that is the option that I hope you choose to take. Now, you might be feeling inspired right now in this moment, and you're probably wondering, well, Jeremy, this sounds amazing, but what now? What do I do? I'm going to share a couple action items that may help you, okay? If you're someone right now and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't really even know what my strengths are. Like, what are my gifts? What makes me unique? One of the easiest exercises you can do is literally get a blank sheet of paper and just start writing down your strengths. And I know sometimes it's hard to identify your own strengths because we're naturally our harshest critic, right? We're so hard on ourselves. If you're anything like me, I'm constantly thinking, bro, you can do more. You fucked up. Do better. And there's this duality between like holding ourselves to a high standard, but also like allowing ourselves to acknowledge ourselves and appreciate ourselves for our progress, for our gifts, for our strengths. So get out a piece of paper. What are the things that you're good at? And this could be something for me. I'm good at communicating. Okay. I'm a good communicator with my words. I'm articulate, some would say. I love connecting with people. I've gotten much better at actually being fully present and listening. That wasn't always a strength of mine. I'm also very creative. When I'm in the proper flow state, I am so creative. I'm also goofy. I'm joyful. I'm passionate. I'm intelligent. I've dedicated a decade of my life to all of this personal growth, the health, the wellness, all of the work that I've been doing. I'm committed. And I believe I can actually be more committed. I'm consistent. I show up every day, even when I don't feel like it. So literally get out a piece of paper and start listing your strengths. Then after that, call 3 to 5 people close to you. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's your husband, your girlfriend, whatever. And ask them, hey, what do you think I'm really good at that might not come easy or natural to other people? Because a lot of times we have these strengths and we think, oh, like this isn't that special, right? But a lot of times it is. Like, for example, I'm 34, like I mentioned, and I go to the beach or I go to the park and I'm able to stretch and be super flexible with my body, completely pain-free. And people will come up to me and they're like, yo, dude, like, how long have you been practicing yoga? And I'm like, to be honest, I don't really practice yoga that much, but I've been dedicating my life to really optimizing my health and connecting to my body and all of these things. And I realize most dudes my age have been neglecting their body. They've been disconnected from their body. So I realize more and more like, oh, wow. All of that work that I put in with fitness and health and movement has really paid off. And that's a strength. And now I get to use that strength and leverage that gift to help other people. Some of the clients I work with, they have chronic back pain. They can't even play with their children. They might have tens of millions of dollars in the bank, but they don't even have the ability to move their body freely without pain. So that is the next opportunity I want you to ask yourself. Hey, what problems am I in position to solve? Maybe it's helping people get out of pain. Maybe if you are a mom and you're also a business owner, an entrepreneur, maybe it's like, man, I want to show other moms that they can be an amazing parent and they can also pursue their passions and do so from a divine feminine energy, right? Maybe you are a burnt out doctor who left medicine and pursued a path in holistic health. And now, because you're so familiar with the pains and problems that doctors experience, you want to help doctors. So it's beautiful because last week I had an episode talking about tikkun, right? Your soul's correction. And once you make this correction, you get to help other people on that journey. So ask yourself, what's a big obstacle that you've overcome in your life? Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's sexual abuse. Maybe you went through a really painful, challenging divorce. But that is oftentimes the thing that you can help others with. Because here's the thing, like, I've helped people with addiction, but I never overcame addiction myself. So I would argue that someone who actually experienced the struggle, the suffering of addiction and overcame it is actually much more fit than I am to help someone overcome addiction. You see what I'm saying? Your greatest challenge and obstacle that you overcame is the biggest opportunity for you to help others on that journey. So these are just some things to think about, to marinate with, like really allow this to sink in, because I think about how beautiful it would be if we lived in a world where all 8 billion people were connected to their purpose, where they were connected to their gifts. Can you imagine a world where everyone was courageous enough to pursue their purpose, where everyone had the courage to speak their truth? Everyone had the courage to be a creator and not a consumer. I think it would be a really special place. And lastly, on this journey, you might experience imposter syndrome. You might experience discomfort. You might experience fear. In fact, you'll almost automatically guarantee to experience all three of those things. Okay? But that fear is just a signal that you're on the right path. Life isn't about becoming fearless. It's actually about becoming courageous. Feeling the fear, feeling the discomfort, and still taking action. Because you know that by leaning into that fear, it's actually going to make you such a better version of yourself. You're going to learn so much about yourself in that process, and you're going to elevate yourself, and you're going to cultivate confidence. So a challenge I have, if you're listening, watching this, and you're like, I want to start sharing my gifts. I want to start sharing my art. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you want to pursue poetry. Maybe you want to pursue coaching. Whatever it is, start sharing on social media, because the truth is these platforms are free. And yes, they can be very addictive if you're a consumer, but they're also a gift. That's probably how you found me, right? So for the next week, I want you to record a selfie style story on Instagram. It disappears after 24 hours, okay? But just share something from your heart. It can be something that you do as your morning routine. It can be talking about an obstacle that you've overcome in your life. It can be anything. But you need to work the muscle of speaking your truth. So many people are blocked with their throat chakras, especially women. And one of the best things that you can do to heal from that is to actually take actions that contradict the story in your head. So if you're someone that thinks, oh, my voice doesn't matter, or you're fearing the opinions of other people, you need to push through that, because on the other side of it is greatness, is expansion, is light, is impact. You need to take consistent actions that contradict these false stories in your mind. So record a 60-second story. You can even tag me on Instagram and I'll repost it. And share some love with you. You'll probably gain a few followers in the process. But seriously, if you're watching this right now, listening to this, like, I just want to see you win. I just want to see you succeed. I just want to see you be fulfilled, because I've had the opportunity to work with so many affluent clients. I've had the opportunity to interact with really incredible people. And I can tell you that the biggest difference between the ones that are happy and fulfilled and the ones that are sad and depressed is the level of connection they have with their purpose. The ones that feel like they're waking up every single day and making a positive impact, being themselves, are the ones that feel happy, because the truth is they don't even have to show up. Most of them are financially set for life. On the other hand, there's some that still feel stuck, still feel contracted, still feel small despite having the wealth. So I hope this episode inspired you in some way to just start tapping into your gifts and realize that the most selfish thing that you can do in this life is not share your gifts with the world. God put you here for a reason. The chances of you being born a human being are 400 trillion to 1. So what are you going to do about that? Are you going to continue staying silent, playing small, allowing the opinions of other people to hold you back from stepping into your truth? Or are you going to lean into the fear? Are you going to own your gifts? Are you going to share those gifts with others? Are you going to bring that light, that energy to the world? Because that's why you were put here. And if I can play any role in your journey, it would be an absolute honor. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. There's some links in the description, in the show notes, if you want to work with me, if you want to apply for my one-on-one coaching, whatever. To be honest, I just want to see you win, be happy, be successful, and be fulfilled. It's the greatest antidepressant. Living a life filled with purpose, filled with a deep connection with your soul. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. It means the world. As always, the greatest gift you can give me is just taking action on some of the things that I'm speaking into this microphone. I haven't been following a script. I'm literally just channeling through the microphone, through the camera. And if these words impacted you in a positive way, feel free to leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And that's really what makes a massive difference. Word of mouth is my oxygen. And by you sharing the podcast, it actually makes a massive difference. It allows me to impact more people, change more lives, and that's really why I'm here. So thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to witness you fully step into your truth and share your gifts with the world. Much love, y'all. Peace.